Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome everyone to Parkwood High School. It looks like we have a packed house tonight. I would like to call this meeting to order. We will begin with an invocation.
Dear Father, we come together tonight to ask for your blessing, for the wisdom for this board to make decisions for the students and staff of this wonderful school system. We ask you to be with the BOE and the Crowder family, part of the UCPS family that has recently lost a loved one. May the board make the decisions that are best for all concerned. Bless this school, schools of the Union County Public Schools. Amen.
And I would like to ask Matthew Alexander to please come forward, and we will stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Oh. Order. Oh. All out.
We're at approval of the agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to amend the agenda to include in item 11 what will now be C, December 6 minutes revised.
I will second. Sorry.
All those in favor? Aye. Okay, and now we will have the John H. Crowder Award. Board, we have a number of individuals to recognize tonight. Would you please walk around to the front of the table and help me honor our February recipients? Mrs. Sturdivant will begin our recognitions with the John Crowder Award.
Please come to the front. Each month, we recognize a student, a high school student, with a John H. Crowder Award for community service. This award is a living tribute to the John H. Crowder, who spent more than 30 years serving Union County. In order to receive this award, students must not only be academically successful, but also must have established a history of community service, more than one area, or with more than one organization. Tonight, we award the John Crowder Service Award to a very special young man from Parkwood High School. Andrew, you're already standing here. Andrew, a senior at Parkwood High School, has shown a great deal of dedication to his community over the past 4 years and has managed to balance his academics and athletics along the way. He has been recognized in the past for his academic achievements as well as his performance on the football field. However, tonight we celebrate his commitment to those off the field and outside of the classroom. He has spent time through school organizations and his church giving back to those in need. Over the course of his high school career, he has participated in Thanksgiving meals for the needy, Servants with a Heart, roadside cleanup, Special Olympics, and the holiday parties for the local elementary students. In each of these cases, this student did not donate his time once to the cause to add to his resume. Rather, he returned year after year to these causes because he wanted to support them. We are proud of his dedication and are honored to present Andrew Brantley with the John H. Crowder Service Award. Congratulations, Andrew, for being named the February John H. Crowder Service Award. We are super duper proud of you.
The Union County Public Schools Employee of the Month Award recognizes employees in non-teacher, non-certified positions. It was created to honor those who have exemplary work and performance, those who promote positive morale, or possibly those who demonstrate initiatives and creativity that improve the operating efficiency of their department or the district. Individuals can be nominated based on their performance, their customer service, or an individual incident that merits commendation. Our February recipient is Mary Michael, who works in the Human Resources Department. Her supervisor, Dr. Lily Roy, will now come forward and introduce Ms. Michael. And when Ms. Michael comes forward, if you could please give her a standing ovation.
Good evening. It is indeed an honor and a privilege to make this presentation this evening to a most deserving individual, Mrs. Mary Michael. Ms. Michael is a licensure specialist in our Human Resources Division. She demonstrates the epitome of customer service and is very responsive to all requests from supervisors, team members, and other stakeholders. She consistently provides services with a positive, respectful attitude while continuously seeking ways to improve her service delivery. She never leaves a licensure issue unresolved because her focus is always on the best interest of the person to whom she is providing the service. She is totally motivated by a desire to help others and to assure that they receive every benefit to which they are entitled. Congratulations, Ms. Michael. You are so deserving of this award. I will now read the Employee of the Month proclamation. Whereas the Union County Board of Education values the hard work of each employee within the district. Whereas performance is an essential part of district operations. Whereas Mary Michael exemplifies the performance, dedication, and teamwork essential to the success of the district and its students. Now, therefore, the Board of Education for Union County Public Schools and Dr. Andrew Houlihan, Superintendent, hereby proclaim Mary Michael as the Employee of the Month for the month of February 2017. Congratulations again, Ms. Michael. I would also like to acknowledge Ms. Michael's family members who are here tonight. If they would please stand. May we give them a round of applause. And I also bring greetings and congratulations from your entire Human Resources family, your licensure team, and your HRSS team. Thank you so much for all you've done, Ms. Michael. You are certainly valuable to us.
Good evening, Dr. Houlihan and Board of Education members. It's that time of year that we recognize our Union County Public Schools Spelling Bee winner. We have a very bright man from Antioch Elementary School. He is our county school spelling bee champion. Would Daniel Way please come forward? We'll move on. We will move on. You hang on, we'll come back, okay? All right, don't go anywhere. Okay. We would now like to recognize the Communications Office, which has won 15 Blue Ribbon Awards from the North Carolina Public School Relations Association. Would Chief Communications Officer Tahira Stalwart please come forward and introduce her team?
Good evening. The Blue Ribbon Awards are the highest recognition given by the State Association for Excellence in Communications. With so many outstanding school public relations professionals in the state, it was an honor to be recognized by our peers. Would the communications team please come forward? Communications Coordinator Deb Bledsoe, Visual Communications Coordinator Arthur Rogers, and Web Communications Coordinator Becky Swiger. Right here. Awesome. The team won 6 gold awards, 5 silver, 3 bronze, and 1 best of the best award in excellence in writing, in the excellence in writing category. The categories for which our team won are digital media engagement, image graphic design, marketing, excellence in photography, excellence in writing, publications, and special events program. I'd also like to add that the bond campaign actually won a gold award as well. Team, and it is our pleasure to serve the students, parents, and staff in the Union County community. Congratulations.
And our champion has arrived. We're going to ask Daniel Way to please come forward at this time. Daniel is a 4th grader at Antioch Elementary. He became this year's Union County Public School Spelling Bee champion after a record-breaking 34 rounds. The first time, the highest number of rounds that we have on record in some pretty stiff competition. He won by correctly spelling the word aquarelle. The language of Arton is Italian, I see here. I hear you. Aquarelle, a noun that means watercolor drawing or painting. By the way, Daniel said he was a little surprised that he had won because he had never heard this word before.
Neither have we.
Daniel is the son of Yan Mei Chen and Li Wei and will now represent Union County Public Schools at the 63rd Annual Charlotte Observer Regional Spelling Bee to be held on February 27th at the Imaginon Theater in Charlotte. Congratulations, Daniel.
It is now our pleasure to recognize a very talented and dedicated group of educators who have worked very hard to achieve their national boards for professional teaching standards. Union County Public Schools has a total of 285 active national board teachers. Tonight we honor 25 teachers who have renewed their national boards and one who is newly certified. This is an arduous and lengthy process that has strict guidelines for completion. Candidates for national board certification submit a portfolio containing 4 different entries. Each entry requires direct evidence of teaching as well as a commentary describing, analyzing, and reflecting on the evidence. They are also required to write a detailed analysis of the instruction reflected in their student work or video. First, we would like to honor our one teacher who has received the national board certification for the first time. Would Catherine Herbert from Monroe High School please come forward? Ms. Herbert, if you come around here, we'll get your plaque for you. Now I'd like to recognize 11 educators who have renewed their national board certification. The renewal process is not recertification. It's a process by which the applicant compiles and submits a profile of professional growth, or PBG. In contrast to initial certification, the PBG is a single submission composed of 3 interrelated components and a reflection. Congratulations to those who are honored tonight. As I call your name, please come forward and we will shake the hands of the board, followed by getting your presentation of the plaque. From Walter Bickett Elementary. From Central Office, Donna Brown. From Marvin Ridge Middle, Lori Corbett. From Forest Hills High, Joanne Neal Heasley. From Cuthbertson Middle School, Rebecca Jacobson. From Parkwood Middle, Diane Hubert. From Porter Ridge Elementary, Amy Morris. From Shiloh Elementary, Beth M. O'Donnell. From Sun Valley Elementary, Lori Robinette. From Stallings Elementary, Lisa Rushing. And from Marvin Elementary, Nicole Stefano.
And finally, we are excited tonight to recognize a very talented group of individuals from Porter Ridge Middle School. Would Bridget Burrows and her students, Jarrett Dotson, Zoe Logan, and Ashlyn Arnold, please come forward. These are just a few of the cast members of the school's production of Disney's The Little Mermaid. Mermaids are in Porter Ridge, yes, which has brought the school national recognition. You'll meet the other cast members shortly. The group attended an international competition called the Junior Theater Festival in Atlanta, Georgia, and received the Excellence in Ensemble Award. Students Jareth and Zoe were both named Broadway Junior All-Stars, while Ashlyn was a callback in the choreography competition, in which more than 400 students auditioned. She may be a featured dancer on a festival DVD. Ms. Burrows also received an international teaching award called the Freddie G. Teaching Fellowship, for which she will get an all-expense-paid trip to New York City to take on workshops and classes with some of Broadway's finest directors, producers, and choreographers. Because of this fellowship, Porter Ridge Middle School's musical theater program will receive $5,000. Ms. Burrows will now come forward and introduce the rest of her cast.
Zoe Logan, Jareth Dotson, Ashleen Arnaud, Kira Williamson, Lauren Sharp, Emily Boodle, Rebecca Shumway, Ashton Price, Lana Patel, Kayla Jones, Olivia Howe, Mikey Matranga, and Elijah Logan.
And Dr. Houlihan and Board, that concludes our recognitions for this evening.
Okay, next we have school innovation presentation by Ms. Carol Alley.
Good evening. I'm Carol Alley. I'm principal here at Parkwood High School. I'd like to welcome you here tonight. And I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Elizabeth Bartell. She is our Career Development Coordinator here at Parkwood High School.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Elizabeth Bartell, and I'm the Career Development Coordinator here at Parkwood. One of the areas that we take pride in is our career and technical education program areas and academies. And tonight, we're going to be showcasing 4 of those academies for you, our welding and drafting academies, and 2 that are specific to Parkwood only, and as of right now, and that is the Clean Energy Renewable Engineering Academy and also the HVAC Heating and Air. So I'm going to introduce our presenters today. We've got some students working with us to help our teachers showcase the things that we want to show you today in some of our demonstrations. So first we have Austin Gilliard. We have Mr. Mitch Bryant, who is our agriculture teacher and welding teacher, Maggie Peacock, and Mr. Trent Morgan for renewable energy. And we have Dalton Mangum, Campbell Platt, and also our HVAC teacher, Mr. Michael Medlin. And I'm going to turn it over to Austin. Also, Austin is going to be talking about 2 areas tonight, just to let you know. Our drafting area, because our teacher had an emergency, could not come tonight, so he'll be talking about their drafting and also some of the other topics. Thank you.
Good evening, honorable board members, Dr. Houlihan. My name is Austin Gilliard. I'm a senior here at Parkwood High School. I'm here on behalf of the Parkwood CTE program. One of the good things about Parkwood CTE program is the fact that our community ties run deep. I'm a 3rd generation graduate of Parkwood on both sides of my family. I have family members in the 1st and 2nd graduating class. My family has had Mr. Bryant as a teacher before. And lastly, my other grandpa served as a principal here for a brief period of time. And you can see his picture back on the wall. I use the skills in class that I learn in class every day when I work on my family's farm. Everything, hands-on, tools, safety, operating equipment, and the new and improved advanced technology. After high school, I plan to go to NC State. I want to study agricultural business and crop production. However, not every kid here will go to a 4-year university. But by going to the CTE program, you can learn hands-on trades to get good careers, whether it be in welding, carpentry, masonry, air conditioning, and the list goes on. Thank you. And I also will speak on behalf of my drafting teacher who I had last semester who was unable to be here, as Ms. Bartell said. Our drafting academy offers students the opportunity to take drafting 1, drafting 2, and 3 architecture, and drafting 2 and 3 engineering. In these classes, students explore program software that is currently used in the field of drafting design. Participation in this academy allows students to receive Certiport certifications that are industry recognized in each respective program used in select courses. It is an exciting opportunity for students to gain skills that will use and jumpstart them in a field of their interest. Lastly, we are able to do 3D printing. In the Drafting Academy, students can print 3D models that they have created in the Inventor and Revit architecture. Here's an acorn that was 3D printed in our classroom. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Maggie Peacock, and I'm the president of our Parkwood's FFA chapter. Tonight, I'm going to be talking to you on behalf of our co-curricular clubs such as FFA, FBLA, FCCLA, etc. I find these clubs very important because not only do they help you in many skills, but they prepare you for the future. Being an FFA, I have learned many skills such as communication, dedication, motivation, and even responsibility. 2 years ago, I couldn't even talk to you, talk in front of you guys. I was terrified, but today it's easy. I don't think I could have done this without Mr. Bryant. I owe this all to him. He has helped me so much. I'm going to the University of Mount Olive this fall to become an ag teacher just like him, not only because of him, but because of these CTE courses. I believe that we're not just friends, we're family. And I'm going to end this today with our FFA motto: learning to do, doing to learn, earning to live, and living to serve. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Trent Morgan, and I teach renewable engineering here at Parkwood. It's part of our Clean Energy Academy. We're really proud of it. It is the only Union County public school that has Clean Energy Academy. And this is our 2nd year. We've moved into the applications portion from last year's systems portion. And I brought 2 of my brightest students with me, Dalton Mangum and Campbell Platt. They're going to show you a little bit about how the projects work and one of the projects that we perform.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dalton Mangum, and I am honored to be one of 2 students here tonight representing Parkwood High School's Clean Energy and Technology Academy. I am currently a student in the 2nd course of this Clean Energy and Technology Academy. For course 1 of the Clean Energy and Technology Academy, there are 5 units. These units are the electric motor, the solar panel, the passive solar water heater, the biodiesel, and the drip irrigation units. Within each of these units, we were required to conduct extensive research, learn mathematical equations, and then produce a final product. One of these final products is going to be shown to you here tonight, as I will be handing this over to Mr. Campbell Platt, and he will explain to all of you about our passive solar water heater.
Good evening. My name is Campbell Platt. What we have here is our passive solar water heater that we made in our Clean Systems 1 last year. And the way this works is your water source, it goes through this copper tubing here. And you want the water inside the box for as long as possible. That is why the copper tubing, it winds back and forth. The light enters the clear face right here, and it goes into and is absorbed by the black color, the copper, and the insulation inside helps retain that heat for as long as possible. Now, once it's hot and it's been inside here for as long as possible, it exits through this copper tubing here, and that will go into your holding tank or your holding tank. And this can be used in third world countries because it's so cheap and it's extremely easy to build. It's very simple, and this provides hot water to families in third world countries that normally would not get that hot water. This can also be used in first world countries like the United States because it does not use any electricity at all. It's completely powered by the sun, and you can put this on top of your roof, and the sun will hit it all day long and heat the water, and you'll have the water stored in an insulated holding tank for you to use throughout the day. Thank you.
I'm Michael Middleton, and I teach construction and HVAC. How many of you guys can change the oil in your own car? How many of you can build your own house? How about produce fresh produce, fresh meats? How about provide your own health care? We all enjoy eating in our favorite restaurant, right? These goods and services, we are willing to pay a premium for. And these are just an example of a few skills or careers that we offer training. At Parkwood, we pride ourselves in the opportunities that we have available. We feel that it is our responsibility to highlight student strengths and to match them with pathways that will lead to success. Whether through core instruction, arts, or career and technical education, Parkwood works to develop soft skills and prepare our students for a 21st century work environment. Whether or not our students plan to attend a 4-year university, a 2-year trade school, or go straight to work, we want them to leave us prepared. I graduated from Parkwood and the Union County Career Center's HVAC program. I'm proud to call myself a reference. I'm also pleased to report that 5 of my students, including Mr. Austin, have received articulated credit in HVAC from SPCC through my courses.
We have our technical difficulties fixed, and Mr. Bryant's going to show us the welder.
Thank you. I'm Mitchell Bryant, and I am ag mechanics teacher at Parkwood. If y'all would direct your attention to our screen behind me, I do apologize for technical difficulty. This is a virtual welder. It allows the students to practice welding without being in the shop around the real sparks or in the fire, and it will teach you technique. If you notice that green circle is perfect welding angle, speed, towards up and down, and allows you to redirect yourself as far as teaching you the angle and the speed. You actually see through the helmet what is being welded on the screen, and the teacher can evaluate what the student is doing by watching the little screen on the blue computer box, or in this case, we've got to set up on the big screen for you all to view. And it allows the students to practice without costing a lot of welding rod or a lot of metal. It gets a little bit expensive. It also allows a lot of our non-typical students, our females, to come into the shop and actually teach and learn about welding, not be afraid of it, they don't get burned, and then actually pick the skill up. Austin, that's good. When you're done with the weld, it allows you to look back over it, and we can evaluate it through the helmet. The student can evaluate it, or the computer system will also evaluate it. So we get a lot of opportunities for the students to practice and learn a lot about welding. One of the biggest demands is for welders in our industry today. A lot of job markets are out there, and we encourage a lot of our students to go to South Piedmont, welding schools, Tulsa. We've got a number of students going to 1- and 2-year technical schools and learning to weld and making a lot of good money from it. We we have local community ties and help donate metal to us, help us, have metal to weld with. Also, the X-ray company that does the X-ray for our coupons for welding certification is located in Monroe, and they give it to us about $35 an X-ray, and that's a discount of over $200 normally. Okay, so they have treated us well. Parkwood does a great job of all these different programs. Our students have really worked hard on them, and we're proud of them. Mr. Bartell.
Okay, so to wrap things up, one of the things that we've been finding out is that area businesses are really looking for students to have hands-on training and experience along with strong academics. And so it is our goal to teach students both of those things, and so that they have the opportunity to be the best employees that they can be when they go out to look for a job and to be college and career ready. Thank you for being here.
Madam Chair, may I proceed? Would Mr. Medlin come back to the podium a minute? Mr. Medlin's father was at the Career Center when I started teaching there, and he kept me out of trouble. And those in here that know me know I need a lot of that. But and then of course Mr. Medlin came to Parkwood and the heat and air program down here. And then when he retired, his son, who had been in the business his whole life, succeeded him as teacher. And I had run into Michael eating, I believe, breakfast with our families about a month ago. And he told me he was going to be presenting at the Parkwood meeting. And so I call myself the king of free stuff. And so I went to United Technologies in Monroe, who is one of the largest refrigeration companies in the world. And it's managed by Tony Grigston, who's all his children went through Parkwood too. And then also I went to Johnstone Supply, and they have donated approximately $10,000 worth of HVAC equipment to the Parkwood program. Wow. And all you got to do is arrange to get it from there to here. And I just wanted to tell you that we all appreciate what you're doing. And we know nobody likes to get hot in the summertime or cold in the winter. And you are truly sending people out into the world where they can earn good wages. Thank you, Mr. Medlin.
Well, like Mr. Rapis said, I've known him for a long, long time. And you guys at the Career Center, you will never know the number of young men that you have reached. I know a lot of guys that I graduated with, a lot of guys that probably wouldn't have done so well. And we really have changed by people like you and like my father. Thank you, Mr. Rape. Thank you for the hard work. Thank all of you board members for your hard work. And we really do need your help in changing these young people's lives. Thank you.
Okay, we do not have any public comments tonight, so that will bring us to open session meeting minutes for approval.
Provided, and so I just wanted to get those out there. On the January 5th minutes, if we go down to the bottom of the first page, it should say amended agenda was approved in the very last sentence. Then there's a couple just typographical errors that we'll fix. If we look at the fourth page, the transfer request charter school funding, it should say that Mr. Sides made a motion for fund balance flexibility and for an advance of funds. Down under fund balance flexibility request, it shouldn't say deficient, it should say deficit. And then where it says money earmarked for teachers, for laptops for teachers, instead of saying diverted, it should say move to cover. And that's all that I have on that set of minutes. And I think on the 9th, it's just, again, instead of deficient, it should say deficit.
Also on January 9th, there is a statement, and I apologize, I don't know the page, but it talks about the scope of work, and I think it says scoop. So if you can just fix that, it's just a simple typo.
Sure.
And Commissioner Rushing does not, it's not EY, it's just Y. Those are the only two changes I noticed. Any other? So do we
Make
want
a
to
motion
just?
to approve the January 5th and 9th minutes.
Okay, all those in favor?
Moving on to the December 6, 2016 minutes. After reviewing the approved minutes from the December 6, 2016 meeting, along with the video recording of the meeting, I am making a motion to rescind the vote to approve the minutes to allow for a correction.
Motion approved.
No, you need a second.
Oh, you made the motion, second.
I want to say, after reviewing the video, the motion as stated by Mr. Sides requested the chair assign further responsibility to the appropriate board committee and in due course to the full board. The minutes as approved state that he asked the chair to assign further responsibility for the plan to the board and fails to include the committee. I move that the minutes from the December 6, 2016 meeting be amended to state as follows. The chair will assign further responsibility for this plan to the appropriate board committee and in due course a final vote by the board. So I did that wrong, right? First, we need a motion to rescind the first vote. Sorry.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
And now I already made the motion to revise the December 6 minutes and to approve them. So I need a second.
I will second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, next is consent agenda.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Okay, and then we'll have the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and good evening, board members. Good evening to our public, and welcome. I want to say a special thank you to Miss Allie and her staff here at Parkwood High School. Her home economics teacher today gave and her students put on a wonderful meal this evening. So we want to say a big thank you, Carol, to you and your team for all of your hard work in preparing for today and for your special innovation school project. Great job. Also want to say thank you to our, we should do this more often, and I need to do this at every meeting. I want to say in the back, every meeting, you might not realize this, we have school resource officers that are here that are staying late, and they work in our schools all the time. And they're here very early, sometimes the first ones here and the last ones to leave. So we have a few SROs in the back by Jared that are here tonight. I want to say thank you. If we could give them a round of applause. And thank you for your great work, and thank you for being here. And I also want to say thank you to Commissioner Helms for being here this evening from the Board of County Commissioners. Welcome. So you heard earlier from Parkwood High School about this kind of idea of ensuring that we have our kids college and career ready. And I had the great fortune this morning to visit Carolina's healthcare system today. They have a project there called Project Search, and I'm not sure if anyone in the public knows about this. We received a grant last year, and currently we have 6 students that are between the ages of 19 and 22 that are physically in our hospital across from Monroe High School. And these are kids that are in our Transition to Adulthood program. They're interns at the hospital. And over the course of the year, they do 6 to 8 week rotations of interns, everywhere from the emergency room to the operating room to the warehouse, and kind of the list goes on, even the dining room. And the goal with the program is to allow our children and our kids to come out of that emerged ready to be hired. And so here it is February. We have 6 students in the program. All 6 have already gotten employment opportunities and offers for when they graduate. It is a tremendous program. And I just want to say, when we talk about college and career ready for all of our kids, that's a great example of some of the great work done by our team. So I want to say a thank you to our staff, a thank you to Mike Lutz and Carolina Healthcare Systems. It is a tremendous program. And if you're interested in learning more, just let us know. We'd be glad to have you there. And it's the kind of story that we need to be telling for Union County Public Schools. We have 6 this year. There were only 8 families that were actually interested in this last year for this year because it was new and no one kind of knew what to expect. When we've had parent meetings for this for next year, it's been standing room only. And so I would predict that this is going to be a growing partnership and a growing program for our kids. So great job. This week is also National School Counseling Week. So I want to give a big shout out to our school counselors. They do great work. They play a huge part in helping our kids get ready for college and career. So if you are in schools or if you have students or children in schools, please be sure they're saying big thank you to their school counselors. Upon my arrival during our first 90 days, as many of you know, we launched a listening and learning tour. And one of the academic areas of focus that we really started learning more about was our dual language programs. Currently, we have 9 dual language programs in our school system. There were 2 clusters of schools that are not represented currently in that program. One of the clusters is Forest Hills, and one of the clusters is the Monroe cluster. And philosophically, I have an issue with that. And I believe from an equitable standpoint, we've got to make sure we have consistent experiences for our kids throughout all of our clusters. So I'm pleased to let you all know that we're expanding next year. We're going to have 11 dual language programs next year, 1 at Walter Bickett and 1 at East Elementary School. This right now, we're in the middle of kindergarten registration week. So for families that are in the Monroe cluster, if you're interested in that for kindergarten next year, we want you to go to Walter Bickett and East and apply for that program. Students and families that will be in kindergarten at those 2 schools next year, this is a tremendous opportunity to allow you and empower you to learn a second language and get out of 5th grade proficient and bilingual and biliterate. So I want to say thank you to our principals of those 2 schools. They're doing a great job, and I'm really pleased to expand that programming. I also want to give a transportation update. We recently got some news from the Department of Public Instruction that I'd like to share with you all. Currently, we have 5 bus driver vacancies. This compares to 20 vacancies that we had this time last year. In addition, we recently had a safety inspection. This is done every year by the Department of Public Instruction, and they come and they inspect a random number of buses, both our regular yellow buses and our activity buses. For our yellow buses, the score that we get, the lower the score you have to 0, the less deficiencies and defects you have. Last year at this time, we had an all-time record high in Union County of 31. 31.5 was the number in terms of transportation deficiencies from our inspections. This year, it is down to 22. So we've reduced that by 9 points, which is a big, big deal. It's very hard to accomplish. The average for the central region, the average for the score of school systems in this area is 29. So we are below the central region average. I keep saying this, and I'll continue to say it. We're not where we need to be with transportation, but we are making great efforts to improve. And I'm deeply proud of our new transportation director, Marlon Watson, who's in the back, and Sam Bazin. If we could please give them a hand. We are working hard. They are working hard. But this data source is a trend in the right direction, and we're going to continue to get better. This is also, next week is Love the Bus and Love the School Bus Driver Appreciation Week. And so we're going to celebrate our bus drivers next week, board, community members. We're going to be having events all throughout the week to honor our bus drivers. I hear there's this little contraption we call Buster the Bus. I've heard a lot about him. I don't know exactly what he does, but I can't wait to meet him as well. And my last update is something that I'm really excited about. We've been talking a lot and planning a lot and evaluating our current efforts on literacy, particular in grades K, 1, 2, and 3, because we know that the more of our students that we can get reading at or above grade level by the end of 3rd grade, the more success we're going to have as a school system. And so we've been really kind of brainstorming around strategies and improvement efforts that we need to put into place, particularly for next year. We've been studying. But I've said to our team, I want to do something now. And so I'm a big fan of college basketball. And for those of you that know, what's just around the corner is a thing called March Madness. So tonight I'm pleased to announce that beginning in March, for 5 weeks, we are putting out a challenge to all of our 3rd grade students. And we are calling this competition the Books and Brackets 3rd Grade Challenge. So there's a little screen and a logo over here. And essentially what we're going to be doing is we're going to kick off the competition at Sun Valley Elementary on February the 23rd. And we're going to end the competition at Wingate University on March the 31st. The public is invited. The board, of course, is invited. But the goal is to have all of our 3rd graders for those 5 weeks to log and track the number of minutes they are going to be reading in and out of school. And at the end of every week, our instructional facilitators and teachers will be entering those minutes. And we're going to normalize it for school size, because you can't give an advantage to a school that has more 3rd graders compared to less. So we're going to normalize it for that to make it fair. And essentially what you're going to see is we'll start with all 30 elementary schools. When we get down to the Sweet 16 with the basketball tournament, we're going to have our Sweet 16 for our elementary schools, then the Elite 8, and then the Final 4. And at Wingate University on the 31st, in their gym, is going to be a giant literacy pep rally for Union County Public Schools. And we're going to invite the Elite 8 schools, well over 1,000 kids, to be at the gym at Wingate with their coach, the president, Rhett Brown of Wingate, their basketball teams, hopefully both men and women, to have some basketball competitions. And we're going to bring all Final 4 principals out on the court. And the winning team is going to walk away with a check in the thousands of dollars to help support their literacy efforts at their school. And so I am really excited about this. I hope that our 3rd graders are going to be really pumped up about this. It doesn't have to just be about 3rd grade. I know a lot of schools do this anyway for all of their schools as a grade level contest. I do want to say that we have one kind of lead sponsor right now. I want to say a big thank you to the United Way of Central Carolinas, who is going to be donating $5,000 to this cause. So a big thank you to Richard Hines and that team. We also have commitments from the Big South Conference, Union Power Cooperative, Goulston Technologies, and support from the Education Foundation. We've raised over $8,000 for this effort, all private funding, and that will all go back to our schools and to our kiddos to help with literacy. So super excited. Thank you to our partners. Thank you to our board for your support in this initiative. We're looking forward to it. So get your books ready and get your brackets ready. So that concludes my report.
Thank you, Dr. Houlihan. Next, we have the student realignment update.
Almost 3 years ago, a prior Board of Education made the decision to redistrict approximately 5,800 students in Union County Public Schools. This redistricting has cost Union County Public Schools more than $3 million, including lost revenue from the North Carolina Department of Public Instruction, due to the decline in the school's transportation efficiency rating, as well as the increased miles, maintenance, wear and tear on the buses, and additional fuel charges. In December, in part to maximize transportation efficiencies, this Board of Education, including 5 new members, unanimously passed a resolution to initiate the development of a new student realignment plan with the following provisions. 1, follow a neighborhood school concept with all possible efforts made so that students are assigned to the school with the closest proximity to their home. 2, a new no questions asked grandfathering provision allowing students to stay at their current school. Applications for a citizens advisory committee to be involved in the development of this student realignment plan. Retain an outside professional like demographer Dr. McKibben to utilize the most scientific and impartial methods to forecast student population trends, develop concrete school capacity data, and to determine the optimum school assignment to ensure the best plan possible. Following this meeting, staff contacted Dr. Jerome McKibben, the demographer who had previously been engaged by the school system to provide enrollment forecasts. Dr. McKibben requested a meeting with the facilities committee of the board to ensure that everyone was on the same page. The facilities committee met with Dr. McKibben last Tuesday evening to discuss a number of items, including an updated enrollment forecast and to inquire into his services for the possible student realignment plan based on neighborhood schools and improved transportation. Dr. McKibben last updated the school's enrollment forecast in December 2015. Dr. McKibben indicated that he was directed not to include the impact of the charter schools, including the 2 new charter schools in his 2015 enrollment update. If he had been allowed to take into account the impact of the charter schools, his 2015 enrollment data would have only been off by 50 students for the 2016-17 school year instead of off by 1,000 students. Dr. McKibben also addressed the 2014 redistricting and the services he provided. Contrary to statements provided by prior board members, Dr. McKibben was clear that he was not involved in any way with the decision to move 5,800 students in 2014. He stressed that he was only asked to update the enrollment forecast with geocoding data. Next, Dr. McKibben laid out his proposed process for a possible realignment plan based on neighborhood schools. He indicated the following. 1, determine building capacity of each school. 2, form a citizens advisory committee comprised of 2 or more citizens from each of the district's 9 clusters, approximately 18 people. 3, determine criteria for realignment. The board has already set out 2 criteria, neighborhood schools and no questions asked grandfathering. 4, draw maps, 2 or 3 options using the criteria. 5, get public input. 6, revise maps based on public input. 7, finalize maps. 8, present options to the Board of Education for consideration. And 9, implement new boundaries if approved by the Board of Education. This process would take approximately 1 year beginning this March, with a possible decision made in March of 2018 and implementation of any decision for the 2018-19 school year. The Student Realignment Citizens Advisory Committee will work directly with Dr. McKibben and UCPS staff. The board will have no involvement in the process until the committee presents options to the board in March of 2018. We have received approximately 71 applications for this committee to date. We have sent an email to all the applicants explaining the time commitment of 1 year and approximately 20 hours on average per month. Given the time commitment, the Facilities Committee would like to reopen the applications for 1 week so we can get applications from all the clusters. Anyone interested in serving on the committee should apply. The Facility Committee will select committee members from the applications and present the committee members to the board at the March meeting for approval. As you might notice, Dr. McKibben believes that the entire process should be in the open and transparent. He believes in public input and that you cannot give the public too much information. It was very refreshing to hear, and the Facility Committee agrees. Dr. McKibben stated that the goal would be to make this student assignment last for 10 plus years, enough for 1 student to go through the schools K through 12 in the same boundaries. We need to take our time, gather the right information, listen to the experts, and do this right. Thank you.
A question. So you're open it for 1 week from tonight?
Yes,
So if you've already applied, you need not reapply?
correct.
Mrs. Hightail also put out a statement, you may have seen it or not, but for the 68 people who had applied as of last week, she notified them to let them know what the new limitations were, just to verify if they were willing to be on this committee for 1 year, and the 20 hours a week. So that gave people an opportunity to decide if they wanted to keep their name in the hat, or if they wanted to retract their application, given this new information from Dr. McKibben.
Madam Chair, I would like to say something about what we learned from Dr. McKibben last week. Going back to the December 6th meeting, I stated that the board didn't listen to Dr. McKibben last time. Board member Christina Helm stated that Dr. McKibben had requested 7,000 students be moved, and that the board only moved 3,000, so that they did not follow McKibben. Dr. McKibben was asked directly last Tuesday night if he recommended moving 7,000 students. Dr. McKibben said that he never told the board to move one student, adding that he was not engaged, nor did he assist UCPS or that board with the redistricting. He was only asked to update the enrollment forecast with geocoding data. In fact, Dr. McKibben added that he would have told the old board to move kids north, not east. He was clear. He was not involved in the last redistricting, and he did not agree with it. Thank you.
Do any of the board members have any questions for the Facilities Committee, given this update from Dr. McKibben, or the Citizens Advisory Committee? Any questions or comments?
We're currently waiting for a proposal from Dr. McKibben, so we don't have anything yet.
So I was at the Facilities Committee, so a lot of my questions were answered. So I guess March of next year is when the board will get something. So from here on out, it'll be the Citizens Advisory and
the board will have no involvement. That's correct.
So the first time
he
we'll see
said in
anything will
March
be
of next year, he would expect a vote on the options given by the committee, and the board would make a decision from there. But from the time that the committee is formed until they make a recommendation to the board next March, they work directly with staff and Dr. McKibben and his staff, and not with the Board of Education.
So we wouldn't necessarily vote in March. If we're going to see it in March, we've got to have a little bit of time, right? I mean, because we've got to look at options. I just want it to be.
It could be earlier than March. The timetable that he set out at the Facilities Committee was that it would be done and in the hands of the board for a vote in March of 2018.
And because we'd be given options, so we'd have to weigh options. We'd
He
have
talked
time.
about 2 to 3 options.
And then as far as grandfathering, are we giving him any direction? Like you said, everyone can stay. Is that through 12th grade?
The only thing that stands is the motion that we made with the criteria that we gave him. And I don't think any of that's been determined, that we would like to see grandfathering, a no questions asked grandfathering provision allowing students to stay at their current school. So the Citizens Advisory Committee will have to take that and make a determination on what they would like to do from there.
Ms. Hightail, I believe he did say that if the chair and co-chair of the Citizens Committee had a question, they could approach us on direction.
It could approach us on direction and procedural issues,
Sort of like
correct.
a
We were still
sidebar
available,
conversation.
but not to give direction as to what to do with the plan.
And I think it's important for the Citizen Advisory, I know you sent an email to everyone, but for the new people to know that the Citizen Advisory Committee would actually be running the public hearings. They would be doing all of that.
With Dr. McKibben.
Right.
He'll
But
be at all the public hearings,
Right.
staff, yes.
But those would be our representatives. Okay.
I mean, that's his recommendation. We can, that's what he recommended we do, to keep everything above board and, keep the board out of it, but we can do what we want with that. But those were his recommendations.
So Kathy, just for clarity, it's me right here.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry about that. So you are still accepting applications to serve?
We are still accepting applications to serve. We've asked for the Forest Hills cluster. We'd like to have every cluster represented on the Citizens Advisory Committee.
So just for clarity, so if anyone's in the Forest Hills cluster, how do they apply? Like how do they submit an application? Is it
On
online?
UCPS's website is an application for the Citizens Advisory Committee, and they can apply that way. They can send me an email if they'd like. Today I got a couple emails and I attached the link and sent it back.
And the advisory committee is going to be approved by the facilities committee, and is it then going to the full board for four?
Yes, it is. That was what the motion that we approved in December said, that it would then go. Yes, then it will go to the full board and hopefully at the March meeting, it will go in front of the full board for approval.
Do you know the hours that this committee is going to meet?
I've
Is
gotten-
it daytime, nighttime?
I've gotten
That's going to be a big issue for
I've
us
gotten a
moving
lot of
forward.
questions on that, and I think it will be up to the committee as a whole to determine what their availability is and when they can meet.
I have a question for Dr. Houlihan, and if Marvin, if you're still here, necessary. As far as an implementation, the timing to be in place and ready for August opening of school in 2018, what's the drop dead date latest that we would need to have a plan approved so that staff feels comfortable for implementation from a transportation standpoint?
Dr. McKibben indicated that he would be, that the Citizens Advisory Committee and staff and Dr. McKibben would be working right along with transportation as the process moved along to determine efficiencies and things like that. But it's a good question to find out how long it would take transportation to get.
Mr. Bazin might have an answer on that one. I mean, obviously, I agree completely with the board. We want to do this the right way. We don't want to rush it, but the earlier a decision is made for planning purposes is always going to be better. But our commitment is to work with his staff, Dr. McKibben's team, and make sure we're all on the same page. Mr. Bazin, do you want to add?
I did. Marlon was here with his child, so we let him leave after our announcement. It's a homework night at the Watson home. I do not know that date. Dr. Houlihan said earlier is better, but I also know that to some degree we redraw most of our routes over the summer based on new enrollment anyway. So I'm confident that is something that we'll be able to get done. And what I'll do is I'll check with transportation and get that information to the facilities committee when I have that final answer.
Thank you, Mr. Bazin. I'll also add that this might not be that big of an issue from a transportation standpoint, simply because we do have year-round schools. And we have other schools like our early college and those kinds of things that operate on different kind of schedules. So there are some moving parts, and it's very fluid, but I don't anticipate coming up with a date that would be reasonable.
How will this affect kindergarten registration also? If they don't know what school they're going to go to?
It could have a big potential, I would think. You know, right now is the time that we are registering kindergarten families. Now, we could always have a different process when we get to the spring of 2018. And so that's something that we would have to evaluate along with other aspects and issues that Dr. McKibben may not know about that impact the school system locally. So that's an example of the things that we'll have to think through collectively, his staff, our staff, and the board, to make sure that we do right by our incoming kindergarten families.
And the other question is, has anybody formally retracted their application?
Yes, there's several people who have rescinded their applications based upon the time commitment. Correct.
I have one additional question. So whenever we are thinking about Forest Hills and the Monroe cluster, I have not seen the application. Is it available in Spanish as well, or?
Where's Tyra here? I don't believe that the application is on the website in Spanish.
It is, I believe we had taken, because of this new request, we had taken it down. It is now back up live. So the application is both on the front page and the Board of Education website. It is not provided in Spanish. However, we can work to do that and translate that. It's currently a PDF, so we'll have to do, it's a fillable document. So we'll work on that and get it out tomorrow.
The final comment I will make is we have not received a proposal from Dr. McKibben. So it's great to have this conversation and to talk about rolling things out in March or having a vote in March 2018. But I just want to clarify, we have not received Dr. McKibben's proposal, and nothing has been finalized or initiated at this point. So we'll keep the board updated from the facilities committee.
Right. It'll probably be, everything will probably happen at the March meeting if we need, the approval of the committee and of McKibben's proposal. If it comes through, and I believe we're doing an RFQ. We did as well. Any other questions? Good.
Okay. Thank you. That brings us to the financial report as of December 31st.
Good evening. As you see, we have a financial report from July 1st to December 31st. This is a good time of the year because at this point, 12-month employees have worked 6 months, teachers have worked 5 months, and as you'll see, most of our expenses are human capital related, and at least have got encumbered as much as possible. Certainly, there's times of the year that some of the work that needs to be done is better performed, for instance, in the summer. So I will start here with the state fund. As I said, we should be at about 50%. Well, as you can see, overall, we're at about 51.7%. And there's a couple items: sports services, support and development services. You made a transfer tonight. Of course, this is at a 12/31, but you made a transfer into there tonight. So that would cover for that being at 73.5%. Another item of note is the technology support services. We receive E-rate funding. We've received that December 16th. And the PO has already been cut, and that's for access points. Then in the financial and human resource services, we also had a transfer that was prepared tonight and approved by the board that would cover that 175% overage. Now that 1.7% seems like a low amount, but when you do it in terms of dollars, it ends up being about $3.8 million. Well, what happens towards the end of the year is we have to start coding things to local funds. The state allows us to pretty much spend their money first, if you will, in some categories. And then we would then, later in the year, as the state funds ran out, we would charge some of these accounts to the local funds. The next slide is we have a new software that helps us put this into pie graphs. We used to have to do these kind of in Excel, but this is right off our system and it's based on budget. And as you can see, 87% of our budget of our state budget goes into instructional services. 13% is your system-wide support. So obviously the emphasis is in the classroom with these dollars. And then when you break it down by object, you see that when you include salaries and benefits, we're spending 94% of our money on people. And on the state funds, that's primarily teachers, of course. We do pay for some data managers, bookkeepers, clerical staff, nurses, guidance counselors, EC staff, so on and so forth. But as you can see, our majority of our money being spent is on people. Then you have a minor amount of purchase services at 2%, as well as supplies, instructional materials and supplies at 4%. Now we'll move to the local fund. Like I said, this fund is not at 50% yet because we're charging the state account as much as possible at this point, but we have to remember that there's that 3.8 that ultimately has to be somewhat shifted. And what you see here is support development services, for instance, is at 36.3%. That will ultimately have, some of those charges will come from the state fund once those funds run out. These accounts, especially state and local, they mirror each other and they're almost like one. If you had them in the same fund, that would be fine by me, but we're required by the uniform budget to mirror the state funds in the local account, just like the money being spent in the state. Then you have also financial and human resources. There will be a transfer there of items hitting the state fund later in the year. And then accountability services, that's primarily used for testing, and that activity takes place later in the year, so that's why you only see 34.6% spent at this point. Moving on to how these funds, or the local fund, is spent by purpose again. As you can see, 50% of our funds in this account are for instructional services. Then you have system-wide support services coming in at 28%. Well, that includes utilities, maintenance of our facilities. There is some transportation items in there. There's, of course, financial and human resource capital that needs to be spent. And the state does not allow us to spend money on maintenance and facilities in the local budget. So that's why you see these system-wide support services larger at this point. The non-program charges, that primarily is related to the charter schools money that doesn't count towards our piece of the pie, but it has to go through the local budget, and that's that part of that 20%. And the local fund continued by object. Once again, salaries is a large part of our budget. When you include the benefits in that, you're looking at 63%. Purchase services for things we're buying are at 19%. And supplies and materials, we're better off using the state money for people. That's why that percent was so high at 94%. We buy things with our local funds. And of course, there's a lot of supplies, materials that go into the classroom, but there's also supplies and materials that are needed in the maintenance division to do what they do. Transportation, some of those items like oil, gas, and things of that nature are better off on local as well. Then we have federal grant funds. The biggest thing to note here is our federal grants are 27-month grants. Essentially, we're always in a mode of having 3 years of grants in our budget for any one particular year. So this year we received a 27-month grant. That's expected to last 27 months. 12 months this year, 12, and then 3. And then, of course, we have money in this year's budget that's from last year's 27-month grant carryover, and then one portion of 3 months from 2 years ago. So that's why you see this unbudgeted funds of $5.4 million. We can't use that this year, but we're required to budget it in this year. And once again, looking at the budget allocation by purpose, obviously the lion's share goes into instructional services, with the second category of 29% going to non-program charges. Well, non-program charges in this case is actually that part of the budget that you can't touch because it's for next year and the following year, part of the 27-month grants. And then by object, once again, heavy in salary and employer provided benefits, purchase services. A lot of that's going towards, of course, services in our Title I schools, our Title II efforts, and EC efforts as well. Then the capital outlay fund. This includes a lot of carryover from the previous year, and a lot of activity in the capital world, if you will, is building construction. You can't do a lot of that sometimes during the year because you don't want to disrupt instruction. And what you see here is we're at about 45.6%, and I looked it up. We're closer to 50 now, but we're working on making sure that contracts are being encumbered and trying to get use of this money as soon as possible. Of course, some's going to carry over. It's inevitable that we're going to have to do work after the children leave in June and July and early August before the children come back. And of course, then even after that, you're paying the bills after the work is complete as well. The next fund is the Child Nutrition Fund. These are our two enterprise funds, Child Nutrition and After School. One of the big things to note is that we do have a loss at this point of the year of $321,000, but it's typical that we have a loss at this time of the year in child nutrition. First of all, the time from a late start to the year because of the calendar to December doesn't have as many lunch days in it as January through June. So, and we lost 2 days in the year, the beginning of the year, because of the really late start this year. I think it was the 29th, so we lost a couple days there. But at any rate, a big part of that was also we did some work at Monroe High School cafeteria. Of course, the lost revenue from those 2 days, plus all the holidays before December 31st. But we will recoup most, if not all of that, and get back to a break even. Child nutrition is a break even situation. We're looking for a break even situation. Certainly, if we don't break even, we do have a fund balance to go to. That's what it's there for. And then, of course, that's restricted because most of our money in child nutrition is, of course, coming from the federal funds. After school program. Oh, one other thing to note, I couldn't charge indirect costs. If I charge indirect costs, well, first of all, if the program's running in a hole or in a deficit, you can't charge indirect costs. And if I would have done that, it would have made this negative number quite higher. After school program, at this point, they're in good shape. They operate somewhat year round because they have summer camps and things of that nature. So this account's looking like it's on track for the year. And special programs. The special program fund is for non-general K-12 education. Essentially, we have NC Pre-K going in there. We have ROTC. We have EC Medicaid going through there. And the fees that we collect for driver's ed from children go through here. So anything that's going into this fund is for non-general K-12 education. And as you can see, our total budget is $410 million. And this has been balanced on the local budget because when it all comes down to it, the rubber meets the road right on the local budget. So we wanted to make sure that it wasn't misstated that we were either not bringing in enough revenue overall or bringing in more than enough at this point. And we're in good shape at this point of the year to be able to state that we're basically break even like we should be. It's a zero-sum game in governmental accounting, and you try to budget well and you try to keep on track with budgets. Of course, at the end of the year, we will have funds left over, and we'll see where that ends at the end of the year, depending on things going on. Special program funds, just broken down by the different items. Once again, it ends up being instruction is the big piece of the pie there. A small amount of system-wide and auxiliary services and non-program charges. And then by object, once again, salaries and employer-provided benefits are the lion's share of it as well. If there's no questions, that's the financial report as of December 31st.
Thank you, Dan. Are there any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next we will have policies for review.
Good evening, members of the board. We have 2 policies for review this evening. The first one is policy 2-5, gifts and bequests. And that policy came at a request of both the board and staff, and we made some changes to address how gifts will be received and processed. And then in addition, as we do when we review policies, is we pull other policies and see if there's pieces that would make our policies more rigorous. And so we have done that in this as well, and that's for your review. If anybody has any questions. Okay, the second one for review is policy 5-19, Title I Program Comparability of Services. This is an entirely new policy. It is one that DPI has requested we put in place for our federal programs. We have to do a certification. It started this year that we have this policy in place. And what we were able to do, and DPI approved it, is we were able to find these pieces in other policies which satisfy them, but we felt it was most appropriate to have a full policy in place for the future. So those are for your review. If you have any questions. All right, thank you.
Okay, that brings us to closed session decisions, and I need a motion to amend the personnel decision.
I move that we approve the amended personnel agenda.
I second.
Okay, all those in favor? Okay, board comments.
I'd like to thank Ms. Alley. Where are you? Thank you so much for dinner and your students that prepared that dinner and laid out everything. It was just so classy and so wonderful. I love to see our high school students doing something they enjoyed, and it was very tasty, and I can't wait to have my cake when I get home. So thank you. And I also want to say to the facilities committee, I know that you all are doing a lot and looking at a lot. I know that for most of you, it's kind of tough to be there and to look at things. And so I know that you understand what parents are feeling right now and how they may be a little on edge, and the fact that this is a year-long process and nothing's decided. It's important to know, at least for me, there is no predetermined end goal. This is going to go through the process, get the citizens advisory. So I appreciate the work and don't envy you. So thank you.
Thank you. I'd also like to thank Parkwood High School. Dinner was amazing. It was awesome to be able to sit down with some parents from Parkwood and have a discussion about what we do at each of our schools. And from a parent perspective with PTOs and PTSOs and booster clubs, I love those kind of discussions. It gives everybody an opportunity to share things, who gives you money, who gives you items, where you can go to get different things. I wish that we had a little bit more of that, and I know Dr. Houlihan is working on that, and I think that's an awesome thing. I'd like to thank everybody who came. I once sat in those seats in the audience, so I know, one, how unbelievably uncomfortable they am. But thank you so much for coming, and Mr. Helms, thank you for coming today. Appreciate it.
Parkwood High School, I can't thank you enough for your hospitality tonight. Please extend our board's gratitude to your cooking professor, your chef back there, and tell her how amazing dinner was. It honestly was like walking into a fine dining restaurant tonight. We had ambiance, we had music and a video, and could not have been more welcomed into your school. And please let your CTE teachers and students know how very impressed we were with the HVAC, the engineering, the drafting, the welding, the demonstrations that were shown to us here tonight. It's really incredible to be an 80s child and see what high school is like today. So thank you for the wonderful work that you are doing here with your staff and your students. Just keep up the great work. And Commissioner Helms, it is so great to always have your support to this board and to have you with us again tonight. So thank you very much.
I'll second that. Thanks to everyone coming out and those watching on TV. And thank you, Parkwood, for the hospitality. I have a short statement I'd like to read. Shortly after being installed in this office, which seems like forever ago, it's just 2014, I had proposed a measure to help safeguard what I believe is our most fragile students and the caring staff that is called to work with them. Cameras and the associated audio recording equipment in EC classrooms. Under the previous board, this issue was considered, but no action was taken. Tonight is my intention to bring new focus to this issue. Earlier today, I formally requested that the Strategic Planning, Technology, and Transportation Committee place the issue of a classroom camera pilot program at our Wolf School on the agenda for the next meeting. And after the appropriate consideration and agreement with the committee, consideration by this board. I fully recognize this is new territory, not just for Union County Public Schools, for the entire state as well. There are many questions about such a program, and we must do it right. And I have every confidence that we can. Real leadership is not without its challenges. Is it not the first responsibility of our school system, not just to keep our children educated, but to keep them safe, and our staff as well? Is that not why we have cameras outside our buildings, in our hallways, in the cafeterias, and even on our buses? This is our next logical step for our most fragile student population. Who of us sitting at this table wants the responsibility to tell a parent or one of our staff after a serious accident that we had the means to prevent what did happen, but chose not to pursue it because we were afraid of what might happen? Thank you and good evening.
Principal Alley, I would like to tell you that I was very impressed tonight, but not surprised. It's been 45 years since I've been here, and it feels just like it did back in 1972. It's home to me, and it's so easy to see why so many people that come out of the Parkwood Community School, they go on to do so many things. Not that our other schools are not just as great, but that back in 72, I never had an idea that I would be sitting here on a board, which I thank the public for that. But I was really proud of what I saw tonight, and it hadn't changed a bit. It's just getting better.
Any other comments?
I would just like to thank Principal Alley and the culinary students for dinner tonight. Everything was great, and I echo Dennis's statement about being here at Parkwood. I'm a proud graduate of class of '98 from Parkwood, and it's just like being here, just like yesterday, really. I even knew where to go to the bathroom. It was just right there. But again, I'd just like to say thank you and keep up the good work.
Thank you, Mrs. Alley, and the faculty and staff here at Parkwood. You guys have been amazing with your hospitality tonight. Very impressive presentation. Kids are, phenomenal. The dinner that you put on was amazing, and being able to be in that restaurant type setting and being served by the kids who prepared the meal was really fascinating. So thank you very much, and thank you to all the staff as well for being here on a late night. Really appreciate you putting in the hard work. Thank you.
Thank you as well.
Okay, that brings us to announcements.
The Strategic Planning, Information Technology, and Transportation Committee will meet next Tuesday, the 14th at 7:15 a.m. 7:15 a.m. Happy Valentine's Day.
The Finance Committee will meet Friday, February 17th at 8 a.m. We're going to sleep in. We will be meeting at the PDC. For the first time, a Board of Education Committee will be broadcast on our YouTube channel, and all associated documentation will be included on the website for those of you that can't make it in person, if even 8 o'clock is too early.
There will be a policy committee meeting on Tuesday, February 28th at 9 a.m. And I don't know where. Anyone? Central office in the boardroom. We're still working on the facilities committee for February, so keep checking the website. We'll get it up soon. Thanks.
Curriculum, I will follow policy, but I need to get with Ms. Hintel on the date, but I will follow by 2 hours.
Okay, that brings us to our favorite part.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.